Spectrum News is built for
Welcome back to another Stock Market Open live stream. Today, we get to cover the JOLTS report, where we get to see if there are any lingering leftover job openings that haven't yet been closed. And once we close those jobs, we'll see there aren't that many left. But anyway, we get that data in just a few moments. They're just a few moments away.
Just seconds away now from an updated look at the trade deficit.
JOLTS report comes out at 7 a.m. We're just going to get
morning,
trade balance
down, but
like
stabilizing.
Okay, trade balance comes in at negative 78.8 versus
standing by
negative
now
79.
with the numbers.
They're not sure anybody cares at all about that. But it's not until 7 a.m. that we get JOLTS. Factory orders will get at 4.
Yeah, Joe, we're waiting on. There it is. The deficit coming in a little lighter than expected here. It's scrolling across my screen here. 78.8 billion. We're looking for 79.1, so a little better than expected. The goods deficit 103 billion. The service surplus 24 billion. Let's see what else we got here. Exports were 266. Imports 345 billion here, and the China trade deficit a lot higher than expected at $30 billion. Not sure why that is. I know imports from the U.S. have not been doing well there. Oil imports at $75 a barrel. I'll leave it there, Joe, except to say that I don't know if you remember the report I did a couple weeks ago. This is the report that incorporates the Comcast, our parent company's payment to the U.S. Olympic Committee, which is a service import for the television rights. So you tend to get a 1 or 2% pop in the imports of services every 2 years when we pay for the Olympics. I can't see that number right now, but this is the month when we have the Summer Olympics that it's accounted for. So that tends to increase it a little bit. Overall,
that'd be pretty wild.
Deficit is higher, and it will.
There we go. Okay, finally killed that. Okay, got it. So anyway, that's kind of wild that they look for their own spending as part of this data. But anyway, kind of boring. This is the trade balance number. Really, JOLTS is what we're going to be looking at. That'll come out at 7 a.m. California time. So we got another hour and a half to go for that. Hour 29 minutes. Let's take a peek at how things sit in the meantime. We've got the Qs at under the 460 line now. Take a look at this. Let's just do some basic little TA here. Look at this. I mean, after the August 5th dip, you take a look at what happened here. We went from all-time highs to losing all-time highs down at 476 on the Qs to coming on down to the 460 line on the Qs. Once we lost the 460 line on the Qs, we actually ended up dropping all the way down to the 431 line, breaking slightly below that, before recovering not to all-time highs, but nearly to all-time highs, and now we're turning back to some of this volatility and sell-off pressure and pain. So let's take a look at today, looking at like 460. 460.58 might be some resistance here for the Qs. Take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA under that 108 line. Next stop for NVIDIA here is about 101. Not fantastic, but 101 is really the next stop here. Then you've got Palantir down, what do we got here? 2.2. Looks like you're really heading back towards that good old 29 line. That was a pretty good resistance level for quite a while there, and we got close a few days ago at 29.60, but now looks like not quite there yet, but heading in that direction. So then we got small caps down, also about 46 basis points in the AM. Amazon, Apple, both literally down 0.79 basis points. Redfin down about 85 bips after only being up about 1% yesterday. It had quite a bit of a rally that really faded yesterday and gave up some of its enthusiasm for. You have, let's see here. Bond yields down about 1.1 basis points right now. Oil barely up on the discussion about maybe getting some oil production increase delays in, which should increase the value of current oil inventories and current levels of oil inventory, or oil production rather. Dick's Sporting Good does come out with a beat. You've got, let's see here, Dick's coming in with comp sales projected to be up 3% versus the 2.5 they projected. Let's see here, fiscal year EPS expected to be slightly higher than expected by about 20 cents, 15 to 20 cents, I'll call it 20 cents. So slight increase to fiscal year outlook and an increase to adjusted EPS as well for Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Tesla down about 1%. Take a look at BTC. All right, there we go. Let's zoom out a little bit. Here we go. So, good old Bitcoin. If we zoom back, we can actually zoom back on the day chart here. Look at this weird place we've been in with Bitcoin. You just can't get to all-time new highs. And anytime you get up, you get pushed right back down. It's a little frustrating, I know, for the crypto community. But it's something to watch that we did just break or lose that 57,580 line, I think it is. Yeah, there it is, 57,580. It's not great. This has been a pretty good shelf for Bitcoin for a while now. I mean, you can see it's resistance, it's a shelf, it's a shelf, it's a shelf, it's a shelf. Now it breaks. And it's been a shelf quite a while, so it's like, I mean, you could go back through its history and there's always something going on at 5780. So anyway, losing 5780, not great right now. But we'll take an eye, or keep an eye on this as we get data and sort of some direction for the market. Remember, there's a lot of thought that pricing in a Kamala Harris is bearish for Bitcoin, and I believe that as well. I made a video before the Harris appointment and suggested it was a bullish time for Bitcoin, and I took a bullish position. Crypto did rise, as did Bitcoin and other tokens, as especially leading in through the shooting and otherwise against Trump. But what's remarkable is almost as soon as Biden stepped down, you really hit a peak again on Bitcoin, and it's unfortunate to see, but it happened. So, oh well. Okay. So then, let's see here. What else have we? So we covered Dick's. We got JOLTS coming out at 7. Then Uber kicks off its first bond sale as an investment-grade company. Ooh, gotta sell some bonds. Gotta get some more money. That's what I'm hearing over there. Intel shares down 2.8% after Reuters says contract manufacturing business suffered setback after tests with Broadcom failed. RIP Intel. Oh well. All right. So let's listen in over here for a moment.
Plans is Joe Lavorgna. He's chief economist at SMBC Nikko Securities America, also a former Trump administration National Economic Council chief economist.
I feel like he looks like he's like a character in like The Wolf of Wall Street or something.
The Fed may or may not do this month.
They're definitely going 25. My guess is 50. It won't take them a lot to go 50. I mean, if it's 250, as Joe mentioned, I don't think they're going to go 50. But anything, maybe even around consensus, could get them to move, because the labor market tends to be a lagging indicator. Jobless claims are low, but the recipiency rate is also historically low. People aren't filing claims. So that makes me more cautious that they're giving the right message. The fact the rate is up 90 basis points from its cyclical low is important. You've always had recession when that's happened. Yes, employment has still been positive, but we've noticed in the past, you go back almost every cycle except one, unemployment starts to go up. Notice people enter the workforce because there's stress, and that generally precipitates broader weakness. So we're pretty negative on the economy. I think it's been weak for a while. I think the numbers have been overstating things.
We spoke with one guest earlier this morning, I'm trying to remember who it was, who said that if they cut 50 basis points, it could be a bad signal for the market because they're going to panic.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Yeah, I mean, look, the Fed has told us that R-star, that equilibrium rate is, even the range on R-star is like 250 to 4. So even if you're the high end of where you think rates should be in a neutral setting, it's way above where rates are now, 5.25 to 5.5. And in the last 2 easing cycles, excluding COVID, the Fed went 50 initially. So if you think rates need to go lower, why waste time? Get there sooner.
Is there any sort of politics that play into this at this point? One campaign or the other thinking, oh, they're getting helped or hurt by this?
I mean, the one thing, to Jay Powell's credit, the Fed did market the easing last December, and then all of a sudden the data kind of moved against them. I've also argued for a while the Fed should be cutting rates because the yield curve is massively inverted. Inflation expectations have been low. The economy is not that strong. So yes, there could be a political argument that's made. I don't think it's that strong at the moment.
It takes a while for a Fed rate cut to actually
kick in. It takes a while. Yeah, the thing that I have a problem with is the Fed, to me, pivoted very quickly from we're going to go to only one cut this year in June, and all of a sudden in July they were thinking of cutting at that meeting, which shows you how hard it is to look at data and interpret data and make predictions. I think the Fed, communication-wise, could have done a better job.
There aren't a whole lot of things that the two campaigns agree on, but both of them have come out, both candidates have said that they're not in favor of the purchase of U.S. steel by a Japanese company. Where do you come down as a former economic?
I understand. That's certainly, there are political considerations there. I guess I would say that I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to go into details. I think we could figure out why the campaigns are doing that. What's that?
Meaning you don't think it's a good idea?
No, I didn't say that. Look, economics is great, but economics used to be politics, used to be political economy, and too often we're all about Ricardian equivalence and free trade, and we're not really sure about how the other side is behaving. And I've always said to people, Ricardo would tell you it doesn't matter whether you have the comparative advantage in potato chips or computer chips. I would say I'd rather be the country to produce the computer chips than the potato chips, because high value added, higher wages. So it does sound like an economist. It does depend. But on that issue of steel, I think that's a contentious issue, so I'm not going to answer. I don't want to address it.
Because you don't want people mad at you.
Well, I don't want people mad at me. I don't want the half of the world that doesn't necessarily agree with my politics to hate me, and I need to try to be persuasive and objective, so that's where I want to be.
Okay, so on that note, what do you think of the other ideas that are floating out?
Let me put it this way, that raising the capital gains rate to 45% and a wealth tax, that's very poor economics. If the economy is weak, the last thing you want to do is even talk about a wealth tax. You'd have a massive fire sale of assets across the board, and you'd have big price discovery for those assets that aren't necessarily liquid, like real estate. So I think that's very poor policy, and I think most economists would agree with me on that.
You think if capital gains does go up to 44%, what do you think the reaction in the market will be?
It's going to be much less capital formation, Becky. I mean, if you're taxing something to that extent, so the highest capital gains rates we've ever had, that's going to certainly hurt capital formations, hurt productivity growth, capital investment. It's just, to me, it's just, again, kind of become soak the rich a little bit. I just don't think that's very good economic policy.
Can you make up for it with what the Harris campaign has floated today, I guess, this idea that we're going to give $50,000 in tax deductions for startups instead of the standard $5,000 that you get now?
For a business,
startup small business?
I mean, look, right now, the equity market's doing pretty well. I don't think it's going to necessarily last. So you can raise capital pretty cheaply. I don't think the government needs to come in and then start to dictate what you should give money to. I mean, the market's pretty efficient. It raises capital quite easily. I don't understand why we need another agency to give money forward. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's funny, though. Small businesses we like. It's just those horrible.
Well, the thing is, if you look at
businesses.
If you look at small businesses, their hiring intentions have come down. Economic uncertainty is the highest it's been in a long time.
All business is important. The private sector is important.
But the private
not so important.
But what starts big, what's big, obviously by definition, was small.
It was small when it started.
Yeah.
Celebrate all of them. I don't think size should be an issue.
Really?
I don't know that, Joe.
Joe, thank you.
I understand your perspective.
I'm thinking this, Joe.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Joe.
Coming up, California Congressman Ro Khanna is going to be with us to talk about the emerging economic plans from Vice President Harris, the debate around taxing unrealized investment gains, and so much more, including this small business incentive. You're watching Squawk Box on CNBC.
Well, it was really interesting. This guy basically just told us that one of the reasons you see labor force participation expand is because people are nervous about the economy, so it looks good, but it's not. That was a really interesting line. I thought that was a fantastic line. So really, I mean, not great, but interesting, right? You could say that. Last two easing cycles, the Fed went 50. That was interesting. We already know about the Fed's flip-flop. I mean, you basically went from this position of no cuts and patience and data dependence and inflation in June. Still work on inflation, right? To basically saying a cut soon in July and labor and inflation in better balance, in balance rather, and to we seek no further labor market weakening, and the time has come for cuts by August. It's kind of this like really quick deterioration that you've seen over at the Fed, and it does kind of make you wonder a little bit. Hey, whoa, what Fed? What happened? Because it was only June. Now you're all like, we still got work to do on inflation, and here we are, July, August, and half a week in September, going, the time has come for cuts. We seek no further labor market weakening. Okay. Anyway, rate cut expectation. And I did think it was interesting, his argument about the last thing you'd have with a wealth tax is a massive fire sale. Very bad economics. Yeah, that was quite interesting because you're really arguing this potential for a massive market crash or whatever in the event you pass some sort of policy to tax unrealized gains, essentially. That's interesting. That wouldn't be good. Anyway, then, and he even in real estate, then you've got September. Taking a peek at this, September you have 1.375 cuts priced in. That's actually higher than what I've seen recently, so it's ticked up a little bit. And then for November you're at 2.7, December you're at 4, January you're at 5.275. And then remember, you sort of max out pretty much by the end of 25. So pretty much I would call it approximately, or most max cuts, 9th cut priced in by December 2025. Possible, well, I guess it wouldn't be the necessarily 9th cut. Is it? No, I guess it would be. Times 25. Yeah, these are all 25 BP ones. Okay, yeah. 9th cut priced in by December 25. Possible 10th cut by March 2026. No cuts priced beyond that. All right. Look, it's Ro Khanna.
Realize that is a goose that lays golden eggs constantly for this country and for the world. He's joining us today. It says in your capacity as a surrogate of the Harris-Walz campaign. I'm going to forget that. I'm going to say you're joining us today as my and as my running mate. If we
bottom of the ticket, Joe Rowe.
No, Ro Joe. I want a cushy job where I don't have to do anything, but I can take credit for things. I want the.
We need you in the Midwest anyway.
But you tweeted it out to me, unsolicited. I think last week. What about this idea? And we've talked about it. It bears, I think, some consideration and a conversation. I immediately hear from other conservatives, we don't need to raise taxes no matter what.
Right.
But there are founders of companies that start with nothing. They have $5 billion. they die and they pass it on to their heirs.
If you're using it as cash, it should be taxed.
It's never been
Right.
taxed, ever. It's
Right.
never been taxed.
But they're borrowing against it. doing all
They
kinds of
borrow
stuff.
against
Right.
it, and the idea, and it's what you came up with.
Well, not
why
my
do you
kid-
not want to do Kamala's idea? Well, or whoever came
Right.
up with it. Why do you not want to do the Elizabeth Warren? Why do you not want to do that one?
Let me tell you why I don't think a blanket tax on unrealized gain is a good thing. I mean, let's say you're an entrepreneur. You create a company. It gets to 100 million or 200 million on paper. Now, if you're taxing that, you're probably going to force that person to sell it. They're probably going to sell it to private equity. Do you really want the entrepreneurs to be forced to sell their companies to larger institutions and to decline in value? I don't think that that's what you want for a
That would
startup
be the
ecosystem.
unintended consequence. Jeff Bezos wouldn't have to do that. They're going after these very, I think the whole policy is demagoguing to go after these people that they say pay less of a tax rate than their maid does, and they have billions of dollars.
I get why, but this is not the right way to do it. And also, 95% of investments in startups fail, and so you're going to disincentivize investments in those startups. But here's what I think we can go after. You have folks, okay, they start to have capital appreciation, and then instead of realizing that, they take out a loan, which I call backdoor realization, to fund their entire lifestyle. They never pay tax on that. Then, when they die, they pass that money on to their heirs, and their kids never pay tax on that.
But let me ask you two questions. First of all, I think to make this actually work in practice, you actually also have to have the step up in basis at death. Otherwise, the entire effort doesn't really work because you need to change the incentive structure for why people would even want to take out these loans to begin with. Okay.
Totally agree.
There's a second piece to this, though, which is, and I actually was just on the phone with an entrepreneur in the Valley who I think everybody knows yesterday about this, who said, look, you know, I understand what you're trying to do, Andrew, but if you do this way, it's going to disincentivize additional investment by entrepreneurs in the into either investing in their own companies or investing in other companies. So one of the things that a whole bunch of people who've made a lot of money do is they actually not only take out loans to fund their lifestyle, if you will, but they also take out the money to then make investments in other startups, in venture capital firms. By the way, venture capitalists and private equity folks often are taking loans against their own firms to look like they have carry in their funds. So their actual carry in their own funds is coming from a loan that they're getting from the fund. And so all of these folks are calling up everybody, including, by the way, the Harris team as well, because they're aware of this, because people are calling them saying, well, if you do it this way, you're going to actually be disincentivizing investments in small businesses, to bring it all back to today's conversation that Harris has now proposed. So what do you say to all of the pushback on that front?
Well, on your first point, it's absolutely correct on the step up of basis. And that basically means you start with $100, it grows to $1,000, you give it to your kids. The kids should have to pay the capital appreciation tax. The second point, look, the easiest way is to tax luxury items and luxury items purchases.
Like a VAT.
As a VAT, or, you know, if you're going on luxury things at hotels and planes, luxury purchases, that should be taxed.
What's the line on luxury then?
Well, I mean,
What if you're somebody who's paying ordinary income?
We can figure that out. But on the loans, look, there's always going to be some disincentive or negative effect. But I think that is outweighed by the fairness of people having to pay a tax, which is largely being used.
To me, it's if you are using.
All right, it doesn't seem like there's much of a debate here. Seems a little boring. Let's try the Doomers, and then we can yap about some other stuff. Let's see what we have.
Getting. How big do you see, just in general, e-commerce as a proportion of the overall business?
I think Walmart e-commerce and marketplace is the biggest opportunity in retail. And the reason is we're just starting, right? We are a few years old. We only opened to new sellers a few years ago. And think about, again, large premium assortment categories and experiences. We're getting more and more brands on board. So it's all from customer demand, right? Every morning when we wake up, we think about what a customer's looking for. We want to make sure those items with the right price, with the right quality, with the right speed is on the platform. Premium beauty is attracting more brands, collectibles. I mean, this is going to keep on going. We're just starting.
There's a sense also going forward about how you plan to arrange with certain geopolitical concerns with respect to regions. Are there certain regions that you see this expanding in more than others?
This is boring. Okay, all right. So we had a little bit of a move up here on the Qs. Now only down about 0.5%, only down 0.75 on Tesla. Nvidia's only down about 1.3. Keep in mind yesterday in the post market, this was down like 3 and a bit percent. I know a lot of folks were looking at the Nikkei 225 for a little bit of an indicator as to the direction things might go today. You can see that right here. Nikkei ended up moving down 4.24%, though this might be less of a leading indicator for us, but rather sort of a follow indicator following our market movements. Given that this was yesterday's trading of the Nikkei, you know, the last 4 days over here, it's essentially up 1.57%. But when you incorporate today's trade, which was basically a reaction to what happened in the U.S. yesterday, you're down 2.9. So not great. If I go ahead and throw in JPY to USD, or better yet, USD to JPY, makes it a little easier to see. For evaluating that carry trade again, you can see that on August 5th, we were down to about 144.73 yen per dollar. And now we're sitting at, we did go lower there for a moment. We were down to a brief little lower amount there, August 24th, and nothing really happened in the market. But we are trending back into that low direction here, 145. And it makes sense. I mean, after all, we wouldn't be surprised to see the dollar really weaken against the yen here because we expect rate cuts. We've been told the time has come, and Japan is probably going to raise rates, not reduce rates. But anyway, so some people are still paying attention to this carry trade, concerns over that. I don't know. It seems like you know, it's like kind of like when the first banking crisis happened. Right after that, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, there's gonna be another banking crisis." Like, I mean, kind of had our warning shot, you know. So, why is ASML down so much? Let me see what's going on with ASML. ASML, yeah, look at that. ASML's down to 805. Let's see what's going on over here. This seems like a little bit more excessive. Oh, sorry. Look at it right here. There you go. Look at ASML. It seems a little more excessive than what we've been used to seeing. Let's see here. ASML. Let's find out some more. Okay. ASML delays some machine part orders with suppliers. Longtime bulls bail on ASML. UBS downgrade. Oh. Okay, let's try to understand what's going on over here. I would like to know. ASML. ASML delaying some machine parts with suppliers. Okay, let's write that down. Delay. Okay. Is there any reason why here? The paper refers to the termination of some temporary jobs at suppliers. Okay. Some temp jobs at suppliers like VDL, ETG, these are some weird company names, and VHE being terminated. Okay. Without providing any causal link. Okay. Another supplier says there's a temporary stagnation in the sector. No. That's bad. Hold on a sec. I want to see that. Who says that? New Ways. I'm definitely going to screw this up. Cities New Ways? Whatever. Another supplier. Sees, quote, temporary stagnation in the sector. What do they do? Let me look them up really quick. New Ways Electronics. Okay, here we go. With over 500 engineers in a company, we are a technology innovation partner for our customers. Electronics, charging solutions, electric powertrains, autonomous driving, producing microchips, and more. Semiconductor solutions, smart mobility. We are supporting our customers with solutions for lithography systems. Lithography system control units, power controls. Interesting. Okay, so they do... Let's write that down. They handle power control units for lithography machines, like those ASML manufactures. They also handle EV charging and autonomous EV charging, powertrains, and autonomous vehicle-related work. Okay, got it. Entire semicon industry is in a dip, and everyone knows that, an ASML person told Bloomberg News. Says the company provides quarterly updates on its results. Wow. Really? Interesting news out of Europe. The entire semicon industry is in a dip, and everyone knows that. Maybe that's why Jensen's been selling like crazy, huh? They see 2024 as a transition year. Interesting. Okay. ASML sees 2024 as a transition year. Now, what about... I want to see Jensen's sales. Insider sales. Let's see if I can find that pretty easily. Somebody says such and such holds ASML. I don't think that's true, Aravind. Maybe you should go fact check that before you say that. Let's see here. Transactions. Okay. Let's look at NVIDIA. Okay. Oh, they've been selling like crazy. Insiders. Oh, we don't have... Wait, no. I haven't seen any insider sales since August 9th. But I did see insider sales at NVIDIA on the 9th, the 8th, the 7th, the 6th, the 5th, the 2nd, the 1st. Pretty much almost every single trading day going into the little oopsie-doopsie there. Basically leading up to earnings. How interesting. Well, that was your... There were signs. Okay, some... Fine. Alright. So, ASML delays machine parts. What else here? Oh, and the UBS downgrade. Okay. So let's see what UBS has to say. UBS downgrade. JOLTS isn't until 7 a.m. Selling 15 mil every day. Oh, maybe that's just not updated yet. Let me see. No, every trading day from June 14th to August 9th. So it does look like it did stop August 9th. Yeah, he dumped a lot. Probably right at the peak. Kind of brilliant, eh? Alright, so UBS downgrade. Let's see what's going on with the downgrade. Downgraded from buy to neutral. Expect a moderation in the company's growth after spending on lithography tools slows. Well, this kind of makes sense. Is expected to slow. I mean, once you have the chip making equipment, it's not like you need to buy this chip making equipment over and over again, right? So that's one of the interesting things about infrastructure spending is it's kind of like once you build the highway, do you need to build a new highway every year? Or like the analogy I gave yesterday, once you buy 100 ovens to make cookies, do you need to buy a new oven every year, even if one is more efficient? Or do you just go make frickin' cookies? So, very, very interesting. Jason here is talking about the consumer. Are they stressed? You know, the thing to keep in mind about the consumer is not your leading indicator. It's business intentions that, in my opinion, are the leading indicator. When businesses signal a slowdown, or when businesses signal waning pricing power, or when businesses signal a struggle to grow EPS, they start cutting workers. They certainly slow hiring. And once you stop hiring new folks, what ends up happening? Well, it becomes harder to get a new job. People who have a job get more concerned they're going to lose their job. And then what? And consumer spending starts slowing. Consumer spending is a bit of a lagger. A little bit of a lagger. All right, what else we got here? So UBS was a long-standing bull on ASML. ASML compounded growth rate is expected to slow to 13% between 25 and 23. It's down about half. All right. Let's write that down. Expecting growth rate to slow to 13% between 2025 to 2030 from, imagine when it goes negative, though. To 25. Yeah, down from 24%. Spending on lithography equipment is expected to come down from a peak in 2025. Market is probably overestimating the AI opportunity. Oh, there you go. Now, here come all the pooper talkers. Market, I also am a pooper talker about AI. I think it's overblown, but whatever. Market is probably overestimating the AI opportunity. And let's see here. Yeah. All right. Interesting. So that's ASML. And so they're down 4.6 after this revision here. Oh, still down 2% there on Palantir-ish. 132 on NVIDIA and half on NVIDIA. Let's see what some of y'all have here. Favorite AI software place? You know, I've talked about this, though. Like, yesterday even. I'm a big fan of, like, your Palantir or your Tesla Autopilot or whatever, but the problem is, you know, if fewer people use them because you have a bunch of layoffs, what good does it do you to have great, more software? You're not going to see that growth, and so you got to be careful about paying some of the valuations. So August 9th was the start of the quiet period. It just ended a couple days ago. His trading plan is back on autopilot, 15 mil a day. What price are you a buyer? Oh, like $10 for Palantir. I know that sounds offensive, but I'm not trying to sound like a bear. I'm just not a buyer really of equities. I don't know. I'm maybe the wrong person to ask. It's just I just don't see the risk reward right now for where we sit in the cycle. And keep this in mind. You've got 36 cents of earnings over at Palantir, which at 30.51 yesterday's close, divided by 36 cents, puts me at an 84.75 PE ratio for the forward year. And I'm looking at growth of maybe 22%. So, you know, this sucker's at a 3.85 peg. It's like twice as over, like, it's twice as over, twice as highly valued as I think is probably reasonable. You know, 1.9 to 2.6. Okay, maybe even if I went down to 2.6. All right, let's do 2.6, call it 24 times growth. You know, I'm still probably looking at like less than $23 a share at a 2.6 peg. So, not great. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else here. I saw Andreessen Horowitz close their Miami office. People talking about how crypto doesn't have that many offices. Kind of makes sense. It's all in the home office. Intel money woes throw Biden team strategy into turmoil. Yeah, it's not a surprise. I mean, you kind of like a coin toss on it. It's like, are the Biden bucks gonna help or hurt? Usually government spending is pretty wasteful. But anyway, JOLTS this morning at 7 a.m. They are expected to come in at 8,100. So we'll get to see what goes on there. Still got the Labor Day week sale ending Friday. Yesterday I had a great trade off at the open. 69% off the open. I got that 69% and I'm like, I'm done trading for the day. Labor Day week sale ends Friday. So if you want to see those alerts when I see a trend, always make sure you're part of Stocks and Psych. And then you already know that and that's at meetkevin.com. And then you already know that we're doing the wealth plan consulting over at stockhack.com. So if you haven't learned about that yet, make sure to go over to stockhack.com to learn more about wealth advising. Is SoFi like mortgage companies? My goodness, no. It's like the opposite. SoFi holds a crap load of personal debt and student loan debt and basically consumer debt. Very, very, very little mortgage debt. So no, very, very different from the mortgage companies. Much scarier. Somebody says Miami is crowded and overrated. You know, I personally never liked Miami. I've been to Miami plenty of times in my life, and I'm not the biggest fan. Like you do. I mean, Brickell is nice, but man, Miami changes fast when you leave Brickell. So that's pretty wild. Miami got the fake vibe? No. Tampa is bomb. You know, I think St. Petersburg in Florida is really nice. Somebody says Brickell is amazing. Yeah, Brickell is very nice. SoFi personal loans have an average of 740 credit score. Yeah, I'm skeptical about how they weigh their credit scoring, honestly. Let me look at that. I'd like to, maybe we could find out, investor relations. But I also don't really care because, you know, when people lose their jobs, personal loans are the first to get undervalued, even if it's by the market and not by actual delinquencies at the company. Let's see here. Rumi says Kevin won't buy SoFi. He's stuck in doomsday scenario. I'm just not buying anything right now. I also don't think a market correction is doomsday. Mansois, I didn't say I'm not a bear. I said I am a bear. Totally a bear. Well, I thought that was pretty obvious at this point. Anyway, all right, let's see here. Credit. Credit score. Credit score. I wish they would say on their annual report. Oh, maybe they use the word FICO. Aha. Take a look at this. Oh, this is on credit card. So this says the following credit card portfolio is what they have. And then they use credit. They tell you the debt sort of by credit score. And that seems pretty balanced in 2023, all over the map for credit card debt. But I don't see where they have that average for personal loans. They don't seem to break that out. So I'm skeptical about that because they could just be picking like, oh yeah, our average customer has a credit score of 740. Oh, okay. Are they the ones with the personal loans or are they just banking customers using your credit monitoring services? So I'm a little skeptical by that. I mean, I could just Google SoFi average credit score. Let's see here. No. Let's see where they... Oh, okay. Requires a minimum credit score of 680 to be approved for a personal loan, according to Bankrate. Who knows if it's true? But if that is true, I mean, that's a decent standard. It doesn't make personal loans more desirable in a recession, but I mean, I guess a teeny little bit. But still, it's like a hot potato. Still don't want it. Gross! SoFi is trash, says someone else. Okay. What is that? Nvidia under 100. That's so bearish. Let's see here. Somebody says not a Miami fan at all. So let's see what else here. Let's see some of your comments here. Do you expect another low around the same low of last month or lower lows? Or lows? Well, I mean, what happened last month is we had a big sell-off day, and then we just rallied for 3 weeks after that. That didn't make me less of a bear. It just made me think the market was being a little too optimistic. So, it just depends. You know, if we head towards a recession, this is just the beginning. These drops are just the appetizer. Let's see here. Good luck finding insurance in Florida. Ouch. Fort Lauderdale is awesome, says someone. AI is worthless. Sell Nvidia. That sounds like a bear. Some of these Florida comments. Wow, a lot of people have opinions here on Florida. No, I never played Ark, actually. It's interesting. St. Pete has a cool pier. Clearwater. The beaches at Clearwater are just gorgeous. Huh. The market already priced in for rate cuts? Yeah, that's actually the problem, right? The market already pre-pricing in basically 200 basis points of cuts is bearish, right? Because you've already gotten the good of those rate cuts. So, you know, now you've got seasonal horror, September and October. You got pre-election cycle. You got this potential of being on the edge of a recession. Gross. Somebody says, what price would you be looking to buy Tesla? I don't know, like $90? It's crazy. I know, I'm sorry. I don't want to do anything until I see what happens with this cycle. So, I got some home defense. This is actually 3D printed, so don't ban me, bro. But this is a Rust MP5. How nice is this? Look at that. So it's modeled after the video game Rust. It actually came from Germany, which is also kind of cool. Now, what I thought was really nice about it is they gave me German gummy bears with it. So now if somebody's mad, I can pull out the MP5. So I thought that was pretty cool. I keep that by my desk, just for the haters. Yeah. Yeah, and I totally forgot I ordered it too. I was probably just like, I probably had one or too many tequilas one night, and then I'm like, MP5, it looks cool. And then you just like Apple Pay for it. And I don't know, it must have been like months ago, I feel like I ordered it because, well, it came from Germany, so, you know, they sent me an MP5 through customs, I guess. But anyway, it's fake, it's 3D printed. Don't come after me, California. Don't put me on your list. Probably already on their list. Oh, somebody here says they sold their FNP 90. I'm very disappointed you did that. Some of these comments are hilarious. Oh my gosh. Stock hack equals rock to AK. Dude, that's the branding right there. That's the slogan. Let's go. We will help you snowball. We'll take you from naked on a beach, clueless on how to become a multimillionaire, to AK. I actually really think that's going to be a really unique service. I was talking to the team about it yesterday just because we're working with JPM this week, and I think it'll be a really cool consulting service where it's not like, you know, you're getting nickel and dimed or whatever. It's like, no, let's actually get people on the path to building real wealth. You know, not trying to like time macro or whatever, but actually just focus on true principles, like specifically real estate. I think a lot of folks can really build a lot of wealth in real estate, but obviously also stocks and bonds and all that other good stuff. Balancing all of that is very hard to do. You know, most people aren't good at stocks and real estate. It's usually an or. You get real estate agents or advisors. It's kind of interesting. All right, enough of that. So, JOLTS. We're 40 minutes away still from JOLTS. I don't see anything fun happening right now. Ooh, somebody's talking about Aventura. Aventura is awesome. Aventura Mall is one of the most gorgeous malls in Florida. Great place. They got a Grand Lux. CapEx. Just watch CapEx. When it stops, jobs are next. I totally agree with you. Totally agree. Oh, check this out. I don't know what people think. I'm like torn on this. I'll show you this. This is the Stock Hack 1911. Who wants to see the Stock Hack 1911? Where can I put this? I'll put it on the iPad. I'm not convinced this color was a great idea, but I'll show it anyway. This is a it's kind of like I hope it's glow in the dark. I don't even know if it's glow in the dark. Oh, maybe you don't want to glow in the dark. But look at the Stock Hack 1911. And it's got this like green and black like tie-dye like holster if you go to the range and practice or whatever. But it's got the whole Stock Hack thing going on it. So I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway. All right, so where were we? So we were at, Nvidia's kind of dipping right now. 184 over here. Let's see here. Yeah, look at that. I mean, you were up there to like 118 or 13 for a moment. Tesla's actually recovering better than Nvidia is right now. Q's dropping a little bit. Let's see what else here. What's going on? BT sizzles. Yeah, not really going anywhere. All right. Well, that's kind of boring. So let's see here. Yeah, somebody's asking here. Somebody donated $5 to ask about actively managed ETFs versus passively managed ETFs. I mean, you have to look at that. You know, it's an actively managed ETF is always going to charge more fees than a passively managed one, right? That doesn't mean you shouldn't buy a passively managed ETF, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't buy an actively managed one. Usually it's all about balancing out a proper, sort of diversification. Like I want some of that. You know what I think is a terrible idea is Tesla. I think Tesla, if Tesla goes down to 150, I think Tesla is going to be down like 40%, and that massive dividend that people keep talking about is going to evaporate. Just my opinion. But I think Tesla might go down as one of the biggest ETF scams. This income derivative product for Tesla, and it's done very well. It's collected a whole lot of fees, but I frankly think it could implode over the next few months, depending on how the market goes. I mean, maybe everything goes back to the moon, and then it's totally fine. But that'll be very interesting. Why wouldn't I just talk to a financial advisor? It's free. Talking to a financial advisor is typically not free. You either custody assets with them, you pay consulting fees, you pay hourly fees. You could go to a free financial advisor, but then you have to ask yourself, okay, what am I getting? All right. Everyday carry, 1911. That's a 45. That's a little much for an everyday carry. That's for when I go to Texas. I'm just kidding. Never heard of Tesla. Tesla is a what is it? TSLY. TSLY. So, and it's kind of clickbait the way they show the dividend yield, but it's down 43% year to date, down 53% over the last year, and then you have to take off the fees. Now they do issue a div, but the dividend might be clickbait because they sell puts and calls, and then they also buy call options. And they collect treasury yields. But what happens when, if they get exercised on their puts, they'll have to dump a bunch of their treasuries in to cover. And I don't know, it just seems unsustainable. It does not seem very exciting. Steve here says 5% net worth in gold. Ooh. Yeah, no, I like a nines as well. I totally agree with that. 45's, you hang it up on a wall. 45 goes through a car door like butter. 45 goes through a lot like butter. Yeah. So what else here? Is there any scenario where you would go all in on Bitcoin? No. I'm short Bitcoin right now. I'm sorry. I know. Like, I'm not trying to be like a crypto hater. It's not your fault. It's just timing of the election and potential recession, right? I think it just does poorly in leading into the election with Kamala uncertainty and recession. How are the kids? Capricorn. Oh, thank you for asking. Kids are good. Little cuties. What do we got until market open? Oh, only 3 minutes to go until market open. Wow, I've talked that much. Well, yeah, we got babies. Let's see here. Let's see some babies. What babies have we here? We have... Oh, that was cute. Oh. What about... I get Lauren to post some more pictures on here. We have this little, like, family share album. And it's really convenient because then, like, grandparents or parents or anybody can kind of post pictures to it. It's in it. It makes it really easy for sharing photos. So that's always nice. But, yeah, here's a quick little pic of Summer and Jay. Summer there on the side and Mr. J. And here's Violet, Summer's twin. Pretty cool. All right. So, what are we doing? Oh, hey, look at that. Tesla's trying to go green. You know, as remarkable as yesterday, I feel like, didn't Tesla run like up to 3%? And then it was down like 1.5% yesterday. And look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA's tanking into the open. Let's look at SPY. Qs are down about 7. SPY's down about 1/3. Tesla yesterday. Let's see here. Tesla yesterday. Oh, yeah, because that's where I shorted it. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's so close to the 221 line. I'm going to buy puts. And I think I got my put in like right here at the end of this first candlestick. And it just printed. It was great. Again, you want alerts. I can't guarantee I'll be able to make money, but I will send you my alerts with trends that I see, and hopefully you make money. But anyway, it ended up down. It was wild. Anyway, check that out over at meetkevin.com. All right, so now we're 50 seconds away from the opening bell. You know what I feel like we haven't done in a while is some Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Yeah, I think we got to do that again. We got to bring that back. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Yeah. Bring it back, baby. Which car do you drive with all those kids? Bro, we don't put all the kids in that car. That'd be crazy. No, we'd really need a Sprinter van. Giant Sprinter van with like a TV in the back to shut them all up. Tesla just went green. But no. You don't take all these kids everywhere at the same time. It'd be crazy. And there's no point. I mean, they're so young. Like, what's the point? Just take them on a walk. Here we go. Good luck, everyone.
I think that September's awful. We know October can be awful. But at the same time, I don't want to bet against the market with a Federal Reserve cut. I don't, because that stimulates growth and it throws money into the market. So watch out. I mean, look at the 2 years there, like a 3.8. I mean, people have to recognize that there are other forces besides the son of NVIDIA. And that's SUN.
Let's get the opening bell here at the big board. It's chemical company Eastman. At the NASDAQ, it's biotech BioMarin doing the honors.
Oh, there you go. JJ Biedema always does a good job. Now, now, here's the shocker. We have all this negativity.
All right. Here we go. So, Tesla, I mean, it's up about 70 bips right now, which is good. That's pretty nice. I don't know how sustainable that is. It doesn't seem extremely aggressive here. ASML, pretty stable, holding on to its -4. The Qs are trying to get a green candle in here, as is NVIDIA. Look at that. Trying to green candle there on the 2%er. Apple trying to move up a little bit. Amazon actually just dropped like a rock at the open. Speaking of Rocket Mortgage up 61 basis points. United Wholesale up 38. LDI down a little bit. Bitcoin at the open. What does Bitcoin do at the open? It tanked a little bit. I mean, that's tiny, right? Ulta Beauty, 25 bipples. Okay, Space Mobile, 5%. Yeah, Tesla's trying. 75, 80 basis points right now. NVIDIA's trying to recover, 1.8. So you're getting that same thing like after August 5th, where it was like, oh, okay. That was a bit of a sell down, but let's do a little bit of shopping. A little bit of what it feels like right now. Let's listen to Jimbo.
Really, they believe that $55 billion of data center investments prior to this. They expect $1 trillion of investment in U.S. over the next 5 years.
NVIDIA's already rotating back down. I don't know that calls are super sustainable, but we'll watch because the upside on Tesla there seems somewhat slow, and then the downside on NVIDIA came like right back, along with your downside on what's it called? The Q's and doozles there. So not great. All right.
Company. People haven't liked Adobe that much ever since they weren't able to buy a small business that, Justice Department wouldn't let them. But I thought the Adobe with two positives today was a sign that, again, if you write off software, both enterprise and they also do individual,
Adobe.
That's a mistake. ServiceNow can be bought. Adobe.
NVIDIA lost in Adobe yesterday. Okay, Tesla now 1%. A little enthusiasm back. Let's go look at Adobe news. NVIDIA's still having trouble, man. Down 2.5. Okay, NVIDIA lost in Adobe yesterday. What else do we have here? I don't actually see anything on Adobe, really. Yeah, no.
Nivea, get that at Walgreens, okay? You don't get NVIDIA at Walgreens, you get Nivea at Walgreens. But no, we got people coming and say, listen, I'm really worried about, I'm really worried
Jensen,
about.
not Jergens.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm very worried about NVIDIA. It looks like it could go the way of Nivea. No, NVIDIA? No, come on. Let's get a pronouncer. That people should know. We have pronouncers all the time on our, like, look, I always ask for that. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. Well, people should learn to pronounce NVIDIA before they savage NVIDIA on TV.
Jim, we should point out that some things are working. Industrials are playing.
Oh, thank heavens, they were so
Dow
bad.
is the best Dow name. I don't know. I know you saw.
Tesla now 1.3, still moving up. Q's now moving up, and Nvidia's moving up. All moving up actually right now. So it's only been 3 minutes though, so we'll see what happens. But Q's up, Nvidia moving up, Palantir moving down, almost at the 29.29 line. Watch that line for a bounce. Apple, Amazon, both down a little over 1%.
Over there somewhere.
The Wolf upgrades Alcoa, and then the FCX upgrade comes out of UBS, but it's an initiation.
You need China to come back for aluminum, and there's lightweighting of cars, but I don't think the auto group is that good today. By the way, another Nippon.
Wow, Supermicro down another 6.6%. Somebody here in the comments says they got downgraded by Barclays. Whoa, that's another. Gosh, that company's just getting whacked. Oh yeah, Barclays cut some cuts on short-term volatility. Supermicro gets sued. See no material changes in Q4 results. Have strong confidence. CEO issues letter. Blah blah blah.
Look, I got to tell you, I think that people have to recognize.
Qs are only down 40 basis points. It's not bad. It's actually kind of bullish right now.
Like next week on the debate, which is going to be like, who knows? There's someone could say, look, can we just all get along by agreeing that Nippon Steel cannot buy U.S. Steel? And boom, there would be like suddenly it would be convivial. Because that's the one thing that they agree on, both Trump and Harris. So I don't know what presidential candidate they're thinking of that's going to go behind them. It's very hard to go against president does play a role. You can argue, well, wait a second, they could go to court. But I just think that they ought to just realize that there isn't anyone in either party that's in favor of this. Right. And by the way, Vance, if you read the book, Hillbilly Elegy, you'll know that at the heart of it is the idea that a Japanese steel company came in and wrecked his town. I mean, come on.
Tesla keeps going. It's almost at 2% right now, 1.7. It's a pretty nice staircase there.
One thing getting some play today is German auto sales, Jim. Last month, down 28%.
AMD's up about 2.6 as well, 2.3%.
That's why, I mean, look at Eastern Germany. I mean, I think that they're voting. The conservative, remember, the conservatives and the liberals won. It wasn't just the right wing. And I think they're all worried about precisely this. I think that this is why you can't own this industry, because of what they're saying. And I think that other than Ferrari, I mean, now what I learned a new term today.
Jonas?
Yeah. Honeydews. Honeydews apparently is a drink at the U.S. Open that they can raise prices with impunity, and same thing with Ferrari. So I like that. Jonas just, in a dark moment, Jonas comes in. He's a bright light.
It's true. Volkswagen, by the way, is appealing to unions, saying we got to change our ways or we won't survive this transition. Volvo today, Jim, abandoning plans to go fully electric by 2030.
It's all happening in the way of Chevron. But don't tell that to the oil companies and the buyers there. I mean, think about it. What's happened is that the oil companies are winning a battle because the first sign that it wasn't working was when Hertz bought all those Teslas, and people were crashing the Teslas.
Sure came on the set.
Yeah, and he was saying, look, the big problem with the Teslas, people put it in reverse and it backs into walls. Well, yeah, that doesn't. When you put it in reverse, it does have a habit of going backwards. I don't know why that was such a shock to the people who rented Teslas. But I do think that you've got a situation where everyone's backing away from EV. Don't forget Ford. But they all committed a huge amount of money to EV. So it's like, it is a giant sucking, chess wound. And I just think that we don't have an answer about how to turn the clock back to when we were going all electric, other than many more charging stations, because that's what people are worried about.
You mentioned Chevron. Certainly oil is a story. Got below 70 earlier this morning, and then these headlines hit that OPEC Plus might rethink any kind of production cut or hike.
Yeah, I had that nice company Vista on this side that rang the bell, and they're not thinking that. They're thinking that things are just okay. They don't like it. I mean, maybe they took all their cash and put it in NVIDIA at 120. By the way, NVIDIA is just now remember, it's approaching the vacuum of 100. I'm all in NVIDIA because that's what anybody wants to talk about. I will pivot out of NVIDIA the moment you tell me, listen, Jim, you should really be focused on Boston Scientific. Perhaps the best acting stock in the entire book, other than UNH.
Interesting. Well,
whoa. That's Boston Scientific spelled backwards.
Yeah, I mean.
Okie dokie then. Let's see what's going on. So, this is what I'm seeing right now. Tesla starting to rotate a little bit off the 215. It's been very optimistic though. So, I think that's this is what happened yesterday. So let's see though. It could start running again. The thing with Nvidia though is Nvidia, in my opinion, is a little bit bearish here in that it went from about a 1.5 trying to recover now all the way down to -3%. So you have a little bit more pain going on over here at Nvidia right now. You've got not great direction over here on the Qs. Even if you had some momentum on the Qs, you're coming up on the 460. Palantir's knocking on 29.29. It bounced within 5 cents of my line. I called it out. 29.29 on Palantir. You've got the SPY. You had a nice little run there for the first minutes of the day. Will the upward trajectory hold on the SPY? I don't know. Look at this. Nvidia down 3.3 now. Kind of keeps trending down. A little bit of bearish momentum here. Again, within 3 cents of my line on Palantir. Now let's see if we get any kind of resistance or rejection there. Or like a bounce, basically, right? Rocket Mortgage up 1.5. TLT's up 22 bips. You've got United Wholesale up a little bit. Ubiquity's down a little bit. At 195, though, Tesla's still pretty stable right now. Still bobbing around that same level. See if it can break out of that 1.5. You got, look at that. You got a little bit of a green candle here. What happened yesterday is you basically just continued to tank from here. You had a lot of bouncing around, though. So there is going to be a lot of volatility on those 1-minute candles. I know that because we saw the same thing happen yesterday. Then we've got on the Qs a do still -61 here. Nvidia, though, look at that. Keeps dropping. Somebody says, do you track recession stocks like utilities, bonds, defense sector? I've been noticing they've been steadily increasing last month. Yeah, I mean, they're plays. One thing you have to watch with the utilities is a lot of people think the utilities are the next big thing because of AI. And so you wonder, like, how much has run into it because of that already. Got a nice bounce right here on Nvidia, kind of stopping some of that pain that we saw. And that's helping push up the Qs right here. So not good on any bearish plays. But let's see what happens. You've got AMD coming up at a 140.94 reject. Tesla really has a range to go up to about 221 here. So not necessarily great in the no man's land, depending on which direction it wants to go. 200 is its other support. Oh, look at that enthusiasm coming into the Qs right there. 460.58. Let's see what happens there. And Nvidia gets about a 1% bump. Look at that. Amazing how quickly it moves sometimes. So let's keep an eye on those. Let's listen to Jimbo for a moment here.
I mean, look at 175, Jim. What's that on the year?
Well, I don't know. It's a PE of 25. There's a convergence of Nvidia's PE with Procter's PE. But I got to tell you, Procter's, right now, Procter's in charge. Stock's up 20% for the year off of two bad quarters. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
By the way, the one sector I think can come back.
You've got a nice push, honestly, on Nvidia here. This is pretty good. And now you just moved a whole 1.6% on Nvidia to the upside here. All within the last 2 minutes here. You got a little bit of actually quite a bit of a U-turn there. Let's listen into Varnes for a moment.
20 points to the Dow. I see a bit of a turnaround for the Nasdaq as well. Had been down over 120. Now it's down 60. Volatile today. Gas tax revenue down thanks to the EV push. Some states are looking at new ways to make up for the losses. Jeff Flock in Philadelphia. Jeff, what are these states doing?
Well, here in Pennsylvania, Stuart, the Teslas that you see at the superchargers behind me, they will soon be paying an additional annual $250 fee because, well, they're using the roads and bridges, but they're not paying any gas tax because they, well, don't use them.
Right, which go to support those roads and bridges. SPY's about to go positive, by the way. It's actually bullish right now. Now you are getting some more bullish momentum. You're only down about 0.29 on the Qs. Want to see if it lasts.
Different states doing different.
Remember, you have JOLTS coming out at 7 a.m.
Which seems more fair. Colorado is charging a fee on retail deliveries from Amazon. Minnesota is raising sales tax revenue on all of new vehicles, not just EVs. The highest gas tax in the nation, not surprisingly, is California, 68 cents. Illinois and Pennsylvania not too far behind. And gas tax generally funds roads and bridges, but in some states funds other things as well, like education and law enforcement. And even the folks, we talk about the federal gas tax. That, as you know, Stuart, has not been raised since you were a young man. That was 1993.
Super Micro, by the way, no longer down 6%, only down about 3.94. So also recovering on Super Micro. AMD just got rejected by 140.94. Can it break out? We'll see. Tesla's up about 2.25, which is pretty good. And the momentum's pretty bullish right now. I have to say, the trend is up right now. Only down about 25 bips there on the Qs, although you're losing that 460 line. Watch this 460 line. I think this one's pretty important for the Qs. And 460.58 looks like you were able to push past by about 25 cents. Now you're coming back down. Oh, what a day. And so looking at the catalysts that we have coming out in 15 minutes. JOLTS, expecting 8.1 million. Factory orders, durable goods, capital goods. And later in the day, we'll get the Fed beige book and stuff. Bank of Canada. Canadian labor market continues to slow, but wage growth remains elevated relative to productivity. Okay. Well, that's inflationary. Yeah, let's see what else they're saying here. Canada. Q's popping again. Preliminary indicators suggest economic activity was soft through June and July. Prelim indicator, soft econ activity, June, July. And then we had high shelter price inflation, biggest contributor. High shelter price inflation is the biggest contributor. Sounds a lot like the US, honestly. And then Canadian labor market continues to slow, but wage growth remains elevated relative to productivity. Hey, that's kind of like saying people are getting paid more, but you're not getting as much output. What the hell? Nvidia's only down 85 bips right now. So really positive sort of uptrend here on Nvidia. Nvidia has a line at 108, I believe. Yeah, 108.08. Look at that. You're going straight for that line. That's a nice recovery move right here. If you can break that 108.08, maybe you could get right back to those 220s. And then what you end up having is this little one-day sell down again was just that, a little one-day sell down. You've got the 10-year right now sitting at negative about 2.8 basis points. So nominally down. You've got gold down about 9 basis points, big deal. And Dow is positive. Oil actually flipped back to down. It went positive there for a moment on this concern that we could end up getting, delays in, sorry, not delays, rather an increase of production. And so you saw some real plummeting there for a moment. Let's see here. All right. Nvidia having a little trouble there going past the 1% negative side. The Qs are really in the little sandbag right here. So sitting right there at 460.56. BTC is poopy doopy, says someone. Let's see. BTC, USD, USD ISL. 56.3 right now. Tesla's sticking around here, kind of consolidating right now around that 215 level. Qs are trying to go green again here. Look at that. Yeah, because Nvidia's going for 108.08. It's pushing. It's a bullish direction right now. And Qs could be positive pretty soon, just like the SPY's about to go gain the lead here. Supermicro's only down 3%. They were down 6% on that Barclays downgrade. Lot of bullish momentum right now. Look at that. Q's only down 16 basis points. They were down roughly 1% when we started the day. So, good job, Q's and do's. All right, what do we from data? 11 minutes. 11 minutes remain. All right, let's listen to the doomers for a moment. Nvidia now only down 38 basis points. Let's listen in over here.
Process they have currently is called 18A. The Reuters report says that Broadcom ran a test. They ran silicon wafer through the 18A process, and it failed. And the conclusion, per the Reuters report that Broadcom reached, is that that Intel process is not viable for volume production. The response from an Intel spokesperson in that report was they're still on track for their original timeline. But to join all the stories together, Intel needs the CHIPS Act money to ramp up its foundry operations. It also needs third-party customers who are genuinely and tangibly revenue generating for them to use that to stem its financial losses. At the same time, they're having trouble proving that that process is going well, and per the reporting of Bloomberg last week, they're having to make tough decisions to scale back, be that strategic decisions like separating out the foundry business, or more likely cutting back on existing projects. So how can you go in good faith to the US government and say, we want the CHIPS Act money sooner, but also be sort of looking at your own balance sheet and planning and saying, we're going to have to pull back on our manufacturing expansion because of the realities of our finances?
Ed, we thank you so much for your time and your reporting. That is Bloomberg Technology co-host Ed Ludlow. And coming up, the Nordstrom family makes its pitch to buy back the retailer. We're going to have details for you on that deal next. This is Bloomberg.
Boring.
Experience everywhere.
Oh, also boring. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. So, let's see here. We have, I still have Who Wants to Be a Millionaire playing in the background. Let me turn that off. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. So, data comes out in 9 minutes. Nvidia, look at Nvidia's reject at 108. That's crazy. Right there at 108.08, Nvidia gets rejected. Again, data at 7. So we're close. You are 8.5 minutes away. Really interesting to see that reject right there at that 108.08. Well, it was within 18 cents. But I mean, within 18 cents, that's pretty dang close. It's pretty dang close. ASML, look at that, down only 3.14 or 1.17-ish there, 3.4-ish. Anyway, bobbing around here. Let's see the direction ASML goes. And let's see what else we have here that we haven't been watching. TLT, 17 bips. Rocket Mortgage is rocketing. United Wholesale's coming up 1.8. LDI is kind of hanging out a little bit. It's the riskier one of the mortgage co's anyway, in my opinion. Cooper, 61. What else here? Chewy, 4.5. Enphase isn't really going anywhere. Bill, 2.3. McDonald's, 287. I feel like that's been flat for a while, huh? Yeah, look at that. Look at that consolidation on McDonald's. About 10 days. Okay, all right. Tesla keeps going. It's going to go to 221, I think, here. This is pretty impressive. So watch it at 221. If we hit 221 by data release, that could be an interesting spot if you want to bet on a reject. I think this moment. Yesterday we dumped after about 5-6 minutes, but today is a different day. How different is it? Well, Tesla has been rallying for about 23 minutes, so very different from yesterday. But watch that 221 line, and then on Q's and do's, you can see the struggle to break out a 460 right here. I think data is really going to push you into one direction or another. One way or another. Okay, so what's this?
It's really complicated, really murky, because when you look at the numbers here, while Alexa may not have political opinions of her own, Amazon employees and family members, they do. According to Open Secrets, we have some data here. Amazon affiliates have given 4 times more to the campaign of Kamala Harris than to Donald Trump's campaign. That adds to concern over the influence of big tech on politics. Here's Congressman Jim Jordan weighing in.
Right now, we have a major political party who is for censoring the other side, under the guise of disinformation, misinformation, all this jargon. It's wrong, and we need this issue is critical.
This is, by the way, referring to Amazon Alexa was asked, why should I vote for Donald Trump? And she says, I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or specific candidate. But when asked about voting for Kamala Harris, Alexa gave a detailed list of reasons why someone should vote for a Democrat in November's presidential election. RIP. Look at his bullishness, though. What a recovery. This is very similar to what it feels like to October 5, where the next days you had a lot of buy the dippins. The SPY is now positive by 3 basis points. You got the Qs only down 12 bips. It's nothing. Although, it's still got to get away from this 460 level. Tesla, about 218, 221's a big reject for it. Bond yields down a couple basis points. Not much of a movement here. We're down at 3.83 on the 10, and the 2-year is at 3.84. We're 1.4 basis points inverted. Wow. That's crazy. I'm going to write that down. 1.4 BP inverted as of 06:55. All right. Data. Data's probably going to drive us in a direction here. So I'm really curious to see what we end up getting. And I want to see. Where can we go based on data? So let's zoom out for a moment. So next stops, 438 is pretty far for the Qs. I don't think data could be that bad to actually move to 438. 461, yeah, I mean that's a 5% move. There's like no way. Same thing for 476. So you're kind of lineless, unfortunately, on the Qs. With the exception of the 460 line. So, I know some people might want to put it under 460. Or put Tesla under, 220, 221 on some of the data. So we'll see. Nvidia is dropping again. And Palantir actually bounced. Look at it bounce right on my line. Within 2 cents of my line. 2 pennies. 2 pennies of the line. That's crazy. The meet Kevin lines. Trust the lines, bro. Anyway. That's wild. Okay. So, oh yeah, but TA is just fake. Fake news. That's what people say sometimes. Like, oh, okay. So, all right. Testing that 460 again on the Q's and do's. Data out soon. 3 minutes. 2 minutes. 2-minute warning. See, I need like music. Here we go.
Coupon code expiring soon. Data dependent. Sell the rip.
All right. I'm excited. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, how big of a deal is this data? It's just like trading data. JOLTS. You get a number under 8. Market's probably red. Get a number over 8.4. Market's probably red. Get a number close to expectations. You're probably good. So let's see here. Then you're looking at factory orders, 4.7%. I mean, it would be nice to see a beat over there just for the economy, right? Same thing with durable goods. These should be pretty good numbers here, with the exception of transportation, which are expected to be negative 0.2. So let's see. Here we go. Someone in the chat says, everything's a scam. That's true. That's like the thing you say about stuff you don't like, right? It's everything. That's a scam. Everything somebody does. And if somebody wants to make money, oh, that's a scam. It's a scam, bro. It's all scam. All right, here we go. Okay, data's out. Factory orders actually beat. Wow, 7.6 on the JOLTS. Uh-oh, there's that weakening. Holy crap. Oh, my God. The Qs just took a shiitake mushroom dump. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. Now we got to price in that recession again. What the hell, dog? Nah, man. This is some trash. This is some uber trash. All right, so I told you under 8, the market was going to shiitake itself. So you got 7.6 on the JOLTS instead of 8.1. You got factory orders at 5.0. You've got which is good. Durable goods at 9.8, which is fine. At expectations for durable goods, X transportation, cap goods, fine. It's really just the JOLTS number there. And you got a revision down of the prior by over 270,000. Oh, no. It is a poopy doopies. That doesn't necessarily mean stocks are going to stay down. So you get a big fat candlestick to the downside. People start freaking out again about, oh, no, this is recessionary. It's like Mickey Mouse. Oh, boy. Those are some recessionary numbers. So you get your big green candle, and then you just kind of start running again. So anyway, yeah, look at that sell algo there on the Qs. Holy crap. That was wild. And yeah, I mean, Nvidia lost that 108.08 pretty quickly. Tesla's holding for a little bit. What's worth. Q's trying to recover here. But that's pretty big. And you got a big revision to the downside. Ooh. Below all estimates. Nobody estimated JOLTS to be this bad. Q's already recovering after that sort of algo selling. But yeah, that was an oopsie doopsie there. Let's listen to Sarah talk about the data.
Received a subpoena from the Justice Department as part of an antitrust investigation.
Talk about the data.
One of the biggest losers on the S&P this morning. Look at that, down 20%. The discount retailer missing earnings estimates, slashing its annual forecast as well, blaming a, quote, challenging macroeconomic environment. And then Supermicro, I mentioned, got a downgrade today to equal weight at Barclays following too many negative catalysts, including the 10K, remember, filing delay. Price cut slashed over there to 438 from 693. The stock
Q's going back to 460 right now, and Nvidia's trying to run back up again too. Looks like the market cared for like a whole minute.
To go, crossing the wires. JOLTS comes in at 7.67 million. That is lighter than the estimates of 8.1 million, down from 8.2 million last month. And factory orders for July up 5. That is in line with estimates. That's going to be the lightest opening since January of 2021. And I know that's a number you like to watch.
Well, especially that $8 million openings mark on jobs, because back in April, we got below the 8 million, but since then it's kind of rebounded and hovered around that level. So we are now seeing more evidence that the labor market is cooling off. We're going to dive in just a little bit, look at some of the quit rates and hiring rates and show what's beneath the surface ahead of the jobs report on Friday. Let's talk NVIDIA, though, because the stock is down again after plunging yesterday. The SMH, semiconductor ETF, also coming off its worst day since March 2020. And down again. Dom Chu is here with more color on the stocks and the fallout for semis and tech, Dom, and what the catalysts are.
The catalysts are that economic slowdown story, as you mentioned there as well. Also, this idea that there may just be this valuation concern really permeating through some of the artificial intelligence.
Ooh. Oh, wow. The 10-year's down 6.8 basis points on that. Oh, did we just uninvert? No. We're half a basis point away from uninversion. Oh, my gosh.
You can see in this range below the 50-day moving average and above the 200-day. The level that some traders are watching right now, we're hovering just above that 200-day, which currently sits at around $216 per share in change. So again, the VanEck Vector Semiconductor ETF kind of indicative of the overall tech trade right now. It's been a leader in that move to the downside. And again, we're off roughly 20% from the highs that we saw just earlier this summer. So certainly something to keep a close eye on. You mentioned NVIDIA. Itself, one of the biggest market cap decliners since the record highs that we saw this past summer. NVIDIA shares down 1.5% again. And just to put it in context, we are now down significantly in terms of market cap. Since the peak that we saw this summer, NVIDIA shares have lost some $765 billion approximately in market value. And that's more than the market value of Broadcom itself. So you can see Broadcom shares down about 0.75%. Advanced Micro trying to bounce back a little bit today, Qualcomm and Texas Instruments. These 5 stocks have represented some of the biggest point detractors from the large cap NASDAQ 100 ETF, so keep an eye on those. And then I just want to highlight Broadcom shares because we have earnings coming out tomorrow afternoon after the closing bell. Those shares are down 1% right now, still just below its 50-day average price on a rolling basis. And Carl, just to kind of give you an idea of the context, the options market right now is currently pricing in a plus or minus 6.5% move in Broadcom shares after earnings tomorrow. Over the last 8 quarters, Carl, that move has been plus or minus 5% on average, so a slightly more volatile earnings report expected by traders. I'll send things back over to you.
All right, Don, thanks. Dom Chu this morning. Despite the big sell-off yesterday, a number of names and sectors did hit new highs. Our Mike Santoli is here on set. Talk about some of those moves, Mike.
Yeah, defense. So traditionally defined defensive areas. So among the several things going on is we're back in the growth scare. The sensitivity to any sign that the economy is slipping more than expected is pretty much paramount. So if you look at the low volatility parts of the S&P 500, that's the blue line there, has just sort of taken flight relative to high beta, which is the more aggressive areas. Semi's a huge part of high beta. So we have the AI profitability rethink. We have this growth scare at 21.5 times earnings, which is where the S&P rebuilt to when you had this rebound off the August 5th low. Things have to go pretty well. And so soft landing has to be kind of reassured at every turn. And, you know, as I always discuss, a soft landing is not a moment of achievement. A soft landing is a process of constantly doubting that the soft landing is going to happen. That's where we are right now. That JOLTS number, I mean, we lost 400,000 listings in a month. So that shows you that there's sort of reason for that concern. The bond market is acting as if you have to play defense. And mega cap tech is no longer acting as defensive as it was, right? You had, they were down more in the August sell-off. They gained less of their losses than the overall market, and now they seem like they're suspect as a leadership sector, and that's really a lot of the 21 times forward earnings is coming from those areas.
We're also learning what is defensive and what is not. For instance, gold held up very nicely and is up again today. Dollar, not so much. Sometimes the dollar is a big safe haven.
Yes.
Dollar was weaker. Japanese yen is more the place to go these days. Bitcoin acting, again, more like a risk-on kind of tech stock and not providing much of a safe haven.
It's true. And look, you have to wonder if the bond market is getting a little bit far down the path of pricing in outright weakness. Obviously, the fact that the first Fed rate cut is likely to be here in 2 weeks is crystallizing this debate as to whether it's right on time or it's late or how much it has to be or how much it should be. I think all that's feeding into what we're seeing in the market right now. But, S&P is less than 3% from a record high. I think we should probably keep some of that in context. And you always expected there to be some September chop.
Mike, stick around. Joining us here on set this morning, Adam Parker, of course, Trivarius.
Somebody in chat here says yield curve may have disinverted. Looking at that, I'm looking at it matched right now, which is crazy at 0. And let me refresh here. 2-year. It looks, it's hard to say. 2-year Treasury, it's matched. I mean, look at it. 3.791, 3.791. There's 0 inversion left. Down about 5.3 on the 10-year right now. Oil's down. I mean, this is a recession. This is more recessionary reads. Let's see what Bostic just started yapping about. Looks like maybe he was starting to yap his trap. Q's and Nvidia actually trying to go up here after this data. Still trying to go to 108.08. Tesla's next line is 221. Okay, let's go to Bostic. Oof. Come on. Bostic, what do you got? There it is. Bostic. Not quite prepared to declare victory on inflation. Well, yeah. Bostic. Not prepared to declare victory. What else here? Hiring slowing. Hiring slowing, but fewer contemplated layoffs. Okay. All right. Add some nice warm water to that. Oh, wow. Nvidia just went positive. Look at that. Oh, that's a bullish trend day. Look at that. Oh, dear. Look at that. 108.08. That's the line. Ooh, Nvidia's going to break through this. Look at this. The Qs are pushing through it now, too. Ooh, not bearish day. Elusive soft landing maybe within reach. Elusive soft landing maybe within reach. Maybe. And then we have more confident inflation on a sustainable path. More confident on inflation path to 2%. Labor market continues to weaken, but is not weak. Okay, Bostic. Risk to inflation and employment now balanced. Okay, very well. So that's pretty surprising. Look at this. You're still getting stuck on the Qs. Still getting stuck around here. And Nvidia also with its 108.08 getting a little stuck. So, but BTC likes what's going on here. And this is just within the last few minutes. Look at this. You got, within the last 3 minutes here, you had a little bit of a Bitcoin rally. That briefly sent the Qs to green along with Nvidia. Let's see if it can hold 108.08. And I like the ring to that. IWM went positive. Wow, look at that. And TLT is up 54 basis points. Look at that rocket ship on the data. Somebody else says rip USD. Yeah, U up should be U down. Let me see. U up. Yeah, U up's down a little bit. Then you've got Q's giving up again. Nvidia giving up again. Palantir. IWM turning red. Apple down 2%. That's not great. Rocket Mortgage up 3.2%. Let's go. United Wholesale's up 2.2. Loan Depot's up 1%. They were red earlier. Let's see. Yeah, I want to see if I can get details on that JOLTS report. And where's Rick? I wanted like a, you know, an angry Rick to start yelling, you know? Oh, let's look at the chance of a 50 basis point cut, shall we? Let's see here. Ooh, it all just shot up. So September pricing now at 713, now 1.475. So we just shot up like another 10 basis points there, pricing in 50 basis points into September. November went to 2.936. Then we went to 4.38 on December. 4.39 now. I just updated. And January now sitting at 5.615. And then where are we with the yield curve? I think we're going to disinvert here. 10 years still at 3.787. 2-year 3.787. It's flat. 0 basis points inverted as of 7/13. Oh boy. Oh shoot. Ay, 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 ay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. All right, how we doing here? Q's. What, that line? Just can't shake the line. Neither can Nvidia. This is the second time now they're trying to go 108.08. Cannot shake it. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, let me see if I get more data on this JOLTS report. JOLTS report. We didn't disinvert last week. No, we briefly touched 0 at a heartbeat on August 5th, and then we inverted right away again, like 5, anywhere between 4 to 6 basis points. All right, here's the actual report. Number of job openings, little change, 7.7 million on the last business day of July. U.S. BLS reported, hiring, little changed, okay. Layoffs and discharge changed little. Release includes estimates for the number and rate of openings. Number of openings, little changed. Down by 1.1 million over the year. Job openings rate was 4.6%, little changed. Job openings decreased in healthcare and social assistance. State and local government excluding education, transportation and warehousing, but job openings actually increased in professional and business services. Now that's interesting, and the federal government. Interesting. I don't know how useful that is, but that's interesting to see. The number and rate of hires changed little. Total separations. Quits rate. Let's see here. No, I don't really see anything here. Total separations increased a bit. Total separations rate didn't move much though. Number of quits unchanged. And then you had some revisions down. I mean, not much info here. It's pretty benign. I mean, obviously lower and more in the recessionary direction, but otherwise pretty benign. And Nvidia's back to green. There's that line again. Yeah. Bullish Nvidia. It's going to push the Qs up. QZ doos. QZ doos are the only ones negative because... Oh, well, I guess Russell's negative a little bit as well. Oh, SPY just went negative. Oh, yeah, but these are just silly little single candlesticks. 36 basis points there. Okay. So I want to see if there's any commentary by Wall Street on this. QZ doozies. First Dollar General, now Dollar Tree, warn of consumer under pressure. And what a surprise. Oh, Nick T. Nicky T. Nicky T. Somebody says NVIDIA rejected off the line. Rejected off the line. People make fun of my lines, but they just work. Yeah. The July JOLTS report showed that for private sector workers, the job opening rate dropped to 4.7%, down a little bit. Hiring rate ticked up a little. Layoff rate ticked up a little bit. And the quit rate held steady. So, I don't know how useful this data is. It just sort of shows you this normalization that's occurring. Question is, when does normal become recessionary? That is the question, good sir. I don't know the answer. Alright. Yield curve close to turning positive. Last did on August 5th. Unable to hold it. Watching the curve disinversion. Bull steepener of yield curve. Providing more evidence of weaker labor market. Falling lower than expectations. Lower than anyone's expectations. Quit rate rose slightly, but overall data is consistent with slackening of labor market conditions. It's a weird word. Is it enough for the Fed to go 50? No, but it pushes them in that direction. Yeah, that seems logical. Okay. Is that true? 50 basis point cut is now priced in as more likely than 25? I don't know if that's true. No. No, we're at 47% for 25. And, 47% for 50. So, it is closer to 50-50 though.
Whereas Europe, you've got more value companies, you've got higher dividend yields, you've got companies buying back shares now. So I think it's more of a value opportunity, I guess I would say.
In the UK specifically...
All right, give it to me, Clayton. What do you got?
Strikes me...
It's basically 50-50 for 50? Yes. I could not have said it better myself. It is 50-50 for 50. Somebody says here... somebody's tagging Amazon and Meta. Let's see what's going on over here. Amazon, nothing entertaining going on there. BTC dropping a little more. Meta is not going anywhere. BT sizzles. Try here. BT sizzle, 56.3. Somebody here says 2 days of red is impossible. You have not been in a recession, have you? How does data bode for TLT? TLT up, my friend. TLT up. Very nicely up. So is Rocket Mortgage. Up. Spoken like someone with true call options. Alright. What else, boys and girls? Tesla's consolidating. I don't like no consolidations. No way, Jose. Consolidation not good. Dude, Tesla's been at this level for like 20 minutes. Not good. Pick a direction, would you little weenie? Somebody says yen's getting a bit stronger. Well, yeah, no kidding. Okay, let's go with... I want to see... Where is bonds? Somebody says bought puts on Tesla when it touched 219. 219. Oh wow, that was like literally the top of that candle right there. Good for you. What's the deal with the 210? Arms down 4%? That doesn't surprise me. All right, 2-year right now is... Come on. Ooh, we are officially disinverted by 4 Bipidudes. Is that right? No. It can't be that many. No. 0.4 of 1 basis point. There we go. 0.4 of 1. So slightly disinverted. Schmidgen. And today might be the day or the uninversion begins. All right. Anything else? Otherwise, I gotta make some more coffee. What does disinverted mean? Is it important? Well, basically, short-term yields finally lower than long-term yields. 2-year bond, 10-year bond, you measure the difference. When they're upside down, it's a recession fear. When they go back to normal, it might mean the recession's really close. And usually when you get a nice spike in it, like, another 50 basis points up or whatever, spread between the two, you might be at the start of a recession. So it's unfortunately a bit of a recession indicator that you could be getting a little closer. And the data this morning didn't really help with that. Somebody says, DJT just closed gap from January. Let's see. DJ Tizzle. Beige book relevant today? Maybe, but the beige book doesn't come out until like 11. I mean, I'll read it, but I don't know that there'll be a video to make on it. Beige book, yeah, 11 for the beige book. Yeah, a little bearish there at BTC. Tesla wants to keep going up, but you're in this range right here. So let's see what you've got here. I hate consolidations. Little range bound. Something like, nah, these lines just aren't that great. Let me get rid of these. They keep trying to rubber band. I mean, I'll keep that one. Let's see here. Oh, that's interesting. Somewhere right around there. That's not exactly a bullish wedge here for Tesla. That's kind of bearish, but I do think there's a likelihood of it breaking through here, this consolidation, going to 221, and then we'll see from there. But I don't think you'll have the power to really break far past 221 today. I think you're more likely to reject down. I'm just not sure if you're going to get the breakdown out of this consolidation, where you're just going to fall over the cliff over here, or if you get it after rejecting here. I'm not sure. I don't know. And then you're just stuck at 460 on the Qs. With a continued rejection there at 108.08 on NVIDIA. Wow, Apple down 2%. IWM slightly positive. TLT now down or up 73 basis points. That's another like yeet up right there. What just happened to yields? Oh wait, Sarah's talking JOLTS. Let's listen in
this
here.
week because we get the big August jobs report on Friday, and it's the last big economic report ahead of the Fed decision, which comes in less than 2 weeks. Carl, we know the Fed is paying closer attention to jobs and that part of their mandate because they're feeling good about the other part, which is inflation, as these inflation rates continue to come in line and lower than the high levels we've seen. So what else did we learn from the JOLTS report as it pertains to what's happening in the labor market? Well, I always watch the quits numbers, which is how many Americans are feeling good enough to quit their job in pursuit, theoretically, of higher pay or a better job. Speaks to the confidence out there. And that number, as you can see, has really come down from the post-COVID highs. The latest was the July number. 3.3 million Americans quit their jobs. That's about 2.1% rate. It was pretty much where we were last time, but again, represents cooling. And then one more I'll throw at you, which is the hirings rate, which was about 3.5%. And again, it's been funky in the last few years coming out of COVID, but the hirings number coming down. All of this speaks to a labor market that is softening, something the Fed has acknowledged and is seeing. It's not collapsing. We see that in the weekly jobless claims. We'll get another read tomorrow on Thursday, but it's something the market is taking increasing note of because the Fed is paying more attention to it, and that's kind of the swing factor ahead of the first rate cut. Will it be a 50 or 25?
Interesting take, Kevin Gordon, just now. Construction industry job openings, new cycle low. That's going to take you back to, I think, 20 or maybe 21.
Yeah, housing market definitely has been a weaker part of the economy. On the other hand, did want to highlight some small business news we got from the Treasury Department. This is not necessarily real-time data, but they took a look at small business job contribution. And this was a good chart, I thought, which shows basically, if you look at all the colors from COVID recovery, so they're looking back to 2019 to now, much larger percent of job growth coming from small businesses. All those little colors represent different parts of small business. So they're startups in yellow, for instance, or 1 to 50 employees in blue. But basically, the last time we saw this big recovery in jobs after the Great Recession, it was a smaller share of small businesses. So now, 71% of net private job gains since the prior business cycle peak came from small business. That was up from 64%, which came out of the Great Recession. All I'm saying is that small business is very important, perhaps why Vice President Kamala Harris today is set to announce more tax incentives for small businesses and for startups, because that's where a lot of the job growth is. We always say small business is the lifeblood of this economy. I thought those new numbers were some good context.
Yeah, trying to set some targets for the first term, millions of new business applications, they hope. The good news out of that Treasury report is we're averaging more than 400,000 business applications per month, and that's the highest since 50% higher than 2019. 430,000
new business so far in 2024. That's a really strong number. And again, as you say, a big increase. And it jibes with the job growth that we are seeing being contributed by this sector of the economy. As far as what we're hearing from companies today on the consumer, we had a good one in Dick's and then not so great in Dollar Tree. Listen to Dollar Tree, which the stock is getting hammered. It was the COO because the CEO was sick. So the COO on the call said this about the consumer.
As we have seen for several quarters now, demand from Family Dollar's core lower-income customer remains weak. Dollar Tree has a broader customer base that includes more middle and upper-income households. And beginning this quarter, we started to see inflation, interest rates, and other macro pressures have a more pronounced impact on the buying behavior of these customers.
Thought that inflection point was interesting on the higher and middle income starting to get hit by inflation and high rates. And then there's Dick's, which is doing a lot better. Listen to the CEO on the consumer.
Our comps increased 4.5%. This strong comp was driven by growth in average ticket and in transactions. We saw more athletes purchase from us, and they spent more each trip compared to the prior year.
And as I always make the point, a lot of it depends, what category you're in and just how you're executing. And Dick's has been a good example of really strong execution when it comes to speaking to their consumers. There are other examples like an Abercrombie, but I do think when you listen to COO of Dollar Tree saying the low income remains weak, that's a sort of statement about where we are, and it's consistent with what we've heard from most retailers this season.
Yeah, speaking of which, as we go to break, check out some of the biggest S&P losers. You will find Dollar Tree at the bottom of the list, down almost 19%, followed by Hormel, another reaction to earnings. Although the Dow hanging on to some modest gains after yesterday, up 130. We're back in 3.
That's wild. Yeah, I'm looking at Dollar Tree right now, down 19%. We'll do an analysis on this in the course member live, and we'll see what's going on here. Again, watch that 221 level on Tesla, 56.5 here, BTC, slightly green on SPY. Qs are about to go green. You're finally breaking out of that 460 pain spot. And NVIDIA is about to be green as well. Again, that 108.08 level is the big one to watch. TLT is doing really well. Redfin, some of the mortgage co's, something to watch as well. And there you have it. So thanks so much for watching. Let's push the button and get over to the course member live stream. If you're not part of the course member live streams yet, go to meetkevin.com. You get lifetime access to the course member live streams. All the analysis, the fundamental analysis, trade alerts when I see a pattern or see a strategy that I think is worth playing. No guarantees that past performance equals or will represent future result, but we do our best and look forward to seeing you. Go to meetkevin.com or email us at staff@meetkevin.com if you have bundle coupon questions. Or if you're interested in a mastermind, go to meetkevin.com/mastermind. Next one is in October. It's roughly a month from, I think, tomorrow. But anyway, look forward to seeing you at the mastermind. quarterly mastermind. All right, here we go. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker.
Goodbye, everyone, and